All right, guys, I finally launched some ads for this client, so I can show you right now what happened. This is going to be about how I go about my testing phase. All right, let's go straight into it. Let me filter those two ads. So I have a problem right now with the retargeting campaigns. For 2 days, they have been in review. This is pretty shitty, but I think it's a common thing with Facebook ads those days. So guys, we go straight to the ad set. This is a campaign with conversions as the objective. Very straight. I go straight to objective. I don't care about page post engagements campaign. I don't care about video views. I don't care about none of that, right? I want to go straight for conversions. So we go here and we see only one ad set. And you might be asking, wait, don't you test audiences? Well, in my opinion, testing audiences is a waste of time. Maybe when you have no idea, maybe when you have no prior data, but this account has around $40,000 worth of data. So I just go for 1% lookalike of purchasers and call it a day. That's good enough for me, okay? For your audiences, when you're starting out and you're testing, you want to get a good enough audiences and then forget about it, all right? The only thing you should focus on is the size of the audience. That's what you should focus on. So the rule of thumb here, when we talk about let's go yesterday because it's a complete day. The rule of thumb here is to go and have a daily reach be between 1 and 5% of your potential audience size, right? So we have here 9,000 daily reached, and the potential audience is 420,000. That's good enough for me, all right? It's between 1 and 5%. I'm not going to go into why that works. You know, it's not too narrow, not too broad. That's all you need to care about. So why only one audience? Because we want to make it as fat as possible. We want to feed it as much data as possible. That's the only thing that's going to make it work. You need to really take advantage of the delivery optimization algorithm. That's the best algorithm in Facebook, and you need to use it. To show you how good this is, I'm just going to go here, make the timeline lifetime, and then going to break it down by day. And you're going to see the first day, the cost per checkout initiation, it was $20, and then it was 6.47, and now it's 6.10. So you can see how fast it literally tripled its performance after it started learning what type of customers do I actually want. You might question yourself, why don't you go and why don't you optimize for purchases? Well, it's a pretty simple thing, because if we go yesterday here, again, a complete day, we see we only had 6 purchases. That's not enough to really go and have 50 per week. And keep in mind, this is a testing campaigns. So we might have some campaigns that are, some ads that are bad and they take a lot of budget. So I don't really want to gamble here. That's why I go for initiate checkouts. In this case, for this client, it has enough intent for me to really know that it's the right thing. On an income store, usually add to cart doesn't really have enough intent nowadays. So I would go with initiate checkout instead of add to cart. All right, so make a very big fat ad set. Use between 1 and 5% of your daily reach as the total size of the potential audience. 2 really good rules. Now let's go and check the ads. So 1 ad set, and then the second thing you should really focus on is just write as many angles as possible. So here you can see I've made around 7 ads so far in 2 days, 2.5 days, and I'm going to write many more today actually. So try different combinations between media types and copy, obviously. And when I say an angle, I just don't mean, take one copy and just write, I don't know, change a word into it. Just write complete different angle, all right? Different ways of thinking about the problem, different ways of exposing your product, different ways of describing it. I don't really know. Just try different things, because let me show you how different this actually performed. Obviously, the ads are amazing. We have above average across the board. And because of that, our CPMs are super low. Okay, this is UK, and those are actually New Zealand dollars. So that should be much more. I was expecting 15, maybe even 20, and I got, those very low values because the quality ranking is amazing. So again, we can see here, click-through rates are very different. And if I sort and I show you the ROAS here, you're going to see only 2 of those actually performed. And by the way, the target ROAS for this client is 2. So I'm already super satisfied with this ad. It looks like the copy is really great, because if I'm going to show you, the CTR for all clicks is super high, and that means people are clicking read more on it. All right. Again, the main focus should be test as many angles as possible. That's what you should be focusing, in my opinion, 80% of your time as a Facebook advertiser. You need to have your tracking right. You need to have your analytics right. Audiences don't really matter except for when you're trying to scale. At the beginning, you should write as many ads as possible. All right. So that's why I'm doing. I've already found what looks to be a winning ad, and I'm scaling this today. Again, this ad is really performing, and Facebook has definitely spotted it, because it has, I don't know, it has like 95% of the total budget, and I think it already produced another purchase today. Yeah, it produced another purchase today. So yeah, guys, that's about it. That's how I start accounts. One big fat ad set, try as many angles as possible and see what happens. I'm going to talk about scaling when I'm going to scale this account, so stay tuned. We all know there's a big difference when it comes to ROAS between retargeting and prospecting campaigns. And that's why it can get really hard to predict if you're going to hit your target ROAS. Today, I'm going to show you how to balance those two so you can hit your goals. Okay, guys, I'm going to show you this super useful tool that's going to help us visualize different scenarios where we mix the ROAS between retargeting and prospecting campaigns. All we have to do is just input 2 simple numbers. We have here the retargeting budget share, and that's simply what's left after we spend our prospecting campaign budget, and then we have the target return on ad spend. That's the ideal. That's what you want to get, all right? And on the right, you have this table that has the horizontal axis that represents the prospecting ROAS, and the vertical one that has the retargeting ROAS. And in the middle is what you're actually getting. Those are the combined values between those 2 ROASes. So I'm going to go ahead and give it a test. I'll input some numbers from one of my latest clients. Here we have 10% for retargeting budget share. That's what I'm usually planning to do. And the target ROAS in his case is a 2. So I input those numbers, the table on the right changes, and now let's read what it's saying. First, what I'm looking for is what's the minimum number for the prospecting ROAS. And here I see it's 1.4. All right. I can't really go below this because I won't hit my target. But if I look at the table, I see this, dark green, and that's where I want to get. So I probably should aim for 1.7 or 1.8. That's a comfortable spot for you to be in. So what we see inside this table, if you want to do it yourself, is based on this very simple formula. We just multiply the budget share with the retargeting ROAS and add those up between the prospecting and retargeting. That's it. It's a very simple tool. It's very simple to use, and it's super helpful, especially when you're starting on a new account.